All right, y'all, in this video, I'm gonna do a budget paint job here on this 1985 Ford Bronco. We're gonna use Rustoleum in this. I've got a gallon in quarts of Rustoleum Royal Blue, and we're gonna give it a shot. This is a Bronco I bought a few months ago. I'll go ahead and give you guys kind of a walk around. Let me show you. It's four-wheel drive. It's got the straight six. Automatic. It's got the different colored rear seat. That's because I put that in there, and I've got the front seats to match it. I just haven't installed them yet. Gonna have to modify the brackets a little bit, but it's a blue on blue truck. We're gonna paint it back blue, but this has already had a little bit of some DIY work done to it. See, the hood's got some missing paint. Here's the front. Got a little pushed in bumper there. This fender right here has kind of got a little divot. But in this budget paint job, I'm not going to spend a lot of time fixing stuff like that. I want to fix the rust holes. There are some rust holes. This was a New York truck, so it's seen some winters. You can see some DIY body work over there. I'm curious what the goal was with that. It looks like someone just kind of cleared the nozzle on their rattle can on this thing. Probably the worst part of this truck is the rear back here. So this fiberglass top has had damage. I'm not sure what caused the damage, but it's busted on each corner. See, it's busted here too. Now the thing is, we're not going to use this top. We're actually going to put a soft top on it. The plan is we're just going to gut the tailgate except for the latch so that we can open and close it. And then we're just going to put a lock cylinder in this hole just as a cosmetic thing. It's not going to be hooked up to anything. Because, you know, the soft top is going to be, you know, not lockable anyway. So we're not really worried about that. We've got some rust down here at the bottom of the tailgate. And the right thing to do is replace the tailgate, but I didn't find any good deals on tailgates. So what we're going to do, we're just going to patch this one up. Just budget. We're not going to get the welder out or nothing. We're just going to put some fiberglass in there and call it good. We've got some new tail light lenses. But yeah, that's the truck. Let me show you the engine compartment. All right. So this is the engine compartment. Once again, I haven't really done anything to clean this up. I've only been working on mechanicals on this truck just to see if I wanted to keep it. Some things I had to do to make it run right. This is an 85 year model. So these trucks had computers in them. And they had like the computer controlled carburetor set up and all that stuff that over time doesn't age well. Somebody had put this 4-barrel intake on before I got the truck. And it's pretty nifty, actually. I like it. It had a Holly on it. The Holly got stopped up, and I just threw this. This is an Edelbrock I've got on it now that I had in the shed, and that seemed to run better, so I left that on there. The Holly must have had something stopped up in it because I had to replace the fuel tank in this truck. So it makes sense that carburetor got some garbage in it. Anyway, it runs great now. I ran a return line. You can kind of see my fuel filter up there with the return line. That's just an orifice style fuel filter. It lets any excess pressure just go back to the tank. So we're not going to have any vapor lock issues on this truck. Somebody had put, before I got the truck, had put an electric fuel pump on here. And I imagine that was to try to fix a vapor lock issue they were having, and they had put a spacer or a block off plate on the mechanical fuel pump on the block of the engine. So what I did is I took all that off and put the mechanical pump back because I didn't like the wiring and stuff they had going on for that electric pump. Plus I've had bad luck with electric pumps. I like the mechanicals better. Anyway, the distributor is not original. So as I mentioned, this truck had has computers and stuff controlling ignition timing and other things on the truck, but I wanted to bypass everything that's computer controlled on this truck. And so I put a HEI style distributor in here, just a cheap eBay one, and the thing runs great. Some other things I've done to the truck is just basics. I did some brake work. I'm not done with the brakes. I still have to finish the rears. I got the wheel cylinders and some other parts replaced on the rear, and then realized my rear brake hose was clogged up, not allowing fluid back there. So got to finish that at some point. But right now I want to work on the body work, trying to make this thing more presentable. So anyway, the plan for this thing is a Rustoleum paint job, just budget. I've got a couple days to work on this thing, 3 days if I have to. And we don't have to worry about painting the fiberglass top, so that's going to make life easier. We just got to focus on patching these little rust holes and things and getting everything sanded smooth and masked off. So alright y'all, so I got the tailgate kind of tidied up. I took all the guts out of it except for the latching mechanism. There's a whole lot of things going on in this tailgate. You've got a what do you call it, a tension rod that kind of, you work against it with the tailgate down, the idea of making it easier to put the tailgate up. I had to get rid of that because it was not doing right. It was actually making it impossible to shut it. I tried to position it correctly, but got kind of sick of it. This thing's a lot less heavy with the glass out anyway. I took the window tracks out. I had to take all of my latching mechanism out to service it. It was all crusty and not wanting to work correctly, so. But I put lithium grease in all of it and WD-40 and worked it back and forth a bunch of times, and everything seems to be working properly now. I've temporarily put some extra little foam up here just to keep this thing from rattling so bad. And then I sprayed some rust reformer in there, just some Rustoleum brand, I think it was, rust reformer, down here in the bottom of the tailgate to try to prevent or at least slow down rusting in the future. And then I sprayed the back side of this plate because, as you can see, it's got a little bit of rust there. I might sheet metal screw a license plate there or something, I don't know. I've seen plastic tailgate liners, so I might go that route. Anyway, the tailgate's functional, and that was the goal. I popped that badge off. Now I've got to do my cosmetic work. As you can see, just messing with this thing, a lot of rust fell out of it. Alrighty, so I'm about to tackle the rust here on the tailgate, and I went and sprayed it with some rust converter, and then I sanded it. So I sanded a lot of that off, but kind of see what we're left with once I sanded some of these bubbles away. So what I'm going to do to fill this is use some of this Bondo fiberglass resin jelly. And I think, you know, it's not a professional repair, but it should hold up fine. You know, honestly, this tailgate probably should be replaced, but like I said, we're making do. All right, y'all, I think I'm done with my prep work. I've done all that I want to do. You can spend as much time as you want to on this stuff. Seems like there's no end if you really want to get down to it, but this is a quick scuff and shoot paint job, so we're gonna roll with it. I've hit the entire car with, well, I've bondoed things that need bondoing, and I've hit everything with 400 grit. In some areas I worked up to it, like on the Bondo I started with a coarser grit just to get through it a little bit quicker, and then finished everything up with 400. And the roof was a little bit tricky to reach the center of, but I think I've got it good enough. I had to zip tie sand and sponge with some sandpaper on it because the sand and sponge was wore out. I must have took it off. And then to clean it up, I soaked a paper towel rag in acetone and then wiped up the center of that roof there. But I wiped everything down with acetone, get all the dust off of it. So we got a nice clean paintable surface. That acetone also gets any greasy residue off, which is good. But this is what the truck looks like right now. I'm about ready to crank up the air compressor. It's going to be tricky to make sure I've got this side coated good. I'm gonna have to set up a work lamp or something so I can see what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna put a headlamp on too. Here's a better shot of what this side looks like. Had some rust holes down there. I didn't focus on any dents. There's several dents on this thing. I think I showed you the one on the fender earlier. We're not worrying about that. We just want it to be a color, a singular color would be nice. Here's what the tailgate looks like after I did some Bondo work down there and fiberglass work. It looks a whole lot better than it used to. I kind of want to mention my process here. I'm doing the same thing I did in my other video where I painted a 1990 model F-150 white. So we're using the Rustoleum. Oh yeah, earlier in the video I thought I was going to do blue. I changed my mind, went white. This body's just not straight enough. I feel for like a gloss blue. And that was kind of like a dark blue, so that's really going to highlight any issues. This white's going to be less reflective, I think. It's the best way to describe it, so it doesn't show all the blemishes as bad. And then I'm going to use some hardener. This is some hardener I actually have left over from that job. I don't even know if they still carry this particular product. If so, I'll link it in the description of the video. Same with all the materials that I'm using. We got the Harbor Freight special sprayer. Alright, so here's the formula. And this is a loose formula. You can kind of eyeball this stuff. 5 parts paint, 2 parts acetone, and then a 3rd part of the hardener. I've never been good at measuring that. I just kind of put a splash in there. So I've got like a can and a half, or maybe even less than half in that second can. So I don't want to use too much. I want to make sure I get through this job. But anyway, that's what that's the ratios I'm doing. You can see that. I know there were some questions on the last video. That's what I did. All right, y'all. I got it painted. The GoPro froze on me. I'm gonna have to upgrade my cameras. It's not the first time it's done that, but. So we didn't get footage of me actually laying the paint down, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But we got the paint on the truck. And we did make a bit of a mess in here. It's still a little bit hazy. But I'm gonna get this flashlight and kind of show you the other side. From what I can tell, everything looks good. I didn't notice any runs. I might have had one and just not noticed it, but I didn't notice any. So here's the tailgate. Here's down here where all that rust was. There's a dent right there I didn't even work on, but honestly I'm happy with it. Right there was the worst part of the tailgate, and it still looks, you know, like it's been worked on. But you know, when I go to sell this thing, I want it to be an honest truck. Not that I'm planning on selling it immediately or not anything, but I'm hoping I got this side covered good enough. It's hard to see over here kind of in the dark. I had as many lights over here as I could. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm gonna hit this fender again before I pack everything up. Down at the bottom in particular. Maybe the bottom of the door a little bit. Sometimes my eyes play tricks on me and I think I see a little bit of blue and it's just a reflection or something. But anyway, I'm gonna touch up a couple spots and we'll just get it unmasked to get some things bolted back on it, and I'll show y'all what that looks like. All right, y'all, it's the next day. I've peeled all the tape off and put the mirrors and trim back on. This thing turned out doggone good. It got kind of cold last night. I left my exhaust fan on overnight to suck all the fumes out, and it sucked all the heat out too, so the Paint's still a little tacky to the touch, so I'm sitting it out here in the sun. Hopefully they'll warm up and dry out. Daggone it, guys, I'm happy with this. Just kind of do a walk around here. It ain't perfect. There's things I could have spent more time on. Little divots in the paint are still visible. And my Bondo work's not perfect, but at least there's not a hole there. Once again, I'm not gonna keep this hard top. I'm gonna put a soft top on it. I put some rust reformer on the trailer, or the hitch down there. So now it's not rust colored, it's kind of black. Oh, and I put some brand new tail light lenses on it. The others were just real bad and faded. Yeah, guys, this turned out mighty nice. I think I saw one run on the truck. I don't know if I can spot it. As far as the reflectiveness, it's not too bad. But yeah, there's like a lot of imperfections in the paint that you still see, but it's a truck. It's not a show truck or a show car, it's just a truck. Anyway, I was hoping that I wouldn't get it out in the sun and see a whole bunch of blue streaks in it where I was a little light on the paint. Luckily, I don't see anything like that. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all watching. I'll put in the description some of the materials I used in case you want to look at that. If you use those links, I'll get a commission and I'll appreciate it. So, have a blessed day.